Who said Canadian politics is boring? There is a lot happening today, and that means we're going to talk about Alberta. It's Mike, the political otter, and I am coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Yorkville in Toronto. So what's going on in Alberta? I grew up there, and to give you a little bit of backstory and context for this discussion, the whole sentiment of Alberta alienation is not new. This has kind of been around for as long as Alberta has been around. Very much a sentiment within the province that they sort of got the short end of the stick when it came to Confederation. Alberta is definitely one of the provinces that is a province with surplus as opposed to deficit. Not necessarily talking about their finances here, but just in how they contribute to the rest of Canada. So Alberta often feels as if it's treated unfair, as if it's the economic engine that powers the whole rest of the country, and that it pays way too much to support places like the Atlantic provinces and Quebec. They're not that far off. It's it's part of how Confederation was built. Nobody expected Alberta was going to be the kind of economic powerhouse that it is when it was set up. So it's a long-standing problem within the province. What's really interesting is Alberta tends to lean pretty far to the right, and there's no doubt after 3 Liberal governments and a little over 9 years of Justin Trudeau that one of the things that Alberta really wanted was a Conservative government running the country this time around. An overwhelming majority of the prairies voted Conservative, and that definitely was felt more so in Alberta. So what we're suddenly seeing is a backlash where what has always been the disenfranchised movement in Alberta is now gaining traction, and they're talking separation, and their premier is starting to really stoke the fires of this. Now, is separation going to happen? No. At least not in 2025 or 2026, but we should keep an eye on it because their premier, Danielle Smith, is absolutely using this as a negotiation tool. There's been a couple of really interesting polls done of the people in Alberta since the election. 58% are willing to say that Alberta could separate at some point further down the road. Only 28% are willing to say that they would vote to separate if the referendum was held today. Okay, that's not enough to win, but that is a big number and a number that we definitely need to watch. So, keep an eye on this. It's gonna be interesting. Danielle Smith has, how shall we say, some ultimatums that she's made to the Carney government. I don't know if, giving ultimatums to a guy who's run a couple of major banks as well as incredibly profitable real estate business is the best way to deal with them. And the reality is, if she does, now having lowered the threshold to be able to call a referendum, if she does call that referendum, I would pretty much guarantee that Alberta would insist that she lose her premiership immediately after the separation vote is lost. So it's kind of a fun game that she's playing here. I'm going to be watching this really closely because I'm really curious to see if this helps Alberta get some of its concessions to deal with the feelings of alienation that have been there forever, or if this just absolutely blows up in Danielle Smith's face. It's going to be fun.